And terrifyingly, the same is happening to food production worldwide, food and fertilizer production. It's in the wrong place. It's deliberate. They're smashing the means of manufacturing enough calories to keep 7.8 billion people alive. And where do you think that's going to end? Well, the answer is mass starvation, war, global migration. That's what's going to happen if you and everybody else choose to do nothing at all.
It's Sunday, July 30th, 2023. And I just played, in the first segment that some stations don't carry, a clip of John Kerry at the Davos group saying, we must cut global food supply massively to, quote, save the earth. And then he said, none of our science has ever been disproven and everything's come true. Nothing, they said, came true. It came out last year that CNN had been given talking points that once they were done with the COVID fear, they would shift to global warming to, again, fund the United Nations and global carbon taxes. This is total PSYOP, mind control, run by our nation's militaries. I'm about to go to a clip here on this Sunday broadcast of Dr. Michael Yeadon, the former vice president of Pfizer, their top virologist. We're in just 3 minutes. He lays out the fact that this is all a scientific program for total depopulation that we're living in the middle of. They're coming for our children. They're coming for our food. They're coming for our resources. They're coming for every form of energy. They're shutting it all down. They're not playing games. I'd tell people 20 years ago, the plan was to ban eating meat and take your car away and even take your kids. People said, come on, Alex, that'll never happen. They may say they want to do it, but they'll never get away with it. And now you're living in it. And here's the key. The key, write this down, listen to me, understand this is why they're going ahead with the plan. They know a lot of us are awake. They know a lot of governments are awake. They know a lot of individuals are awake. In fact, the majority in some areas. But here's the problem. They are releasing viruses and blaming it on global warming, cutting the food supply off, blaming global warming, starting wars, blaming global warming. They're creating the economic, cultural systems of total revolution and collapse, the Great Reset, and admitting that's their plan, and then posing as the saviors to bring in their world government, transhumanist global system on its ashes. So we sit back and say, what terrible managers, wrecking economies to consolidate control, doubling their money during the COVID lockdowns for big corporations. People are turning against them, but they're planning new crises, new wars, new viruses to make you forget the last ones. And it's because we don't have a memory collectively that they're able to get away with this. So I'm going to explain it very slowly. I know most of you get it, but for new viewers, they are going to blame all the hell they admit that they've set loose to build the post-industrial world, to build their new world order on global warming. They cut off the resources for 3 years in the third world, and then they flood us with illegals. It collapses society. And John Kerry in other speeches says, we've been flooded by tens of millions. If you don't set up global government and carbon taxes and all the rest of it, we'll be flooded with more when they collapse. When it's their policies that are collapsing things directly by them. And now they're even admitting they want to collapse the world food supply. And then they're going to blame that on global warming, as if we have no memory. So that's how they figured this out. That's how they're getting away with this. And I don't see a lot of people that understand this, even the top scientists and researchers that are debunking all the fraud they put out about global warming. And again, we've not broken any records. It's all lies. Anybody can look it up. But the general public doesn't look it up. They just believe what they're told. Why, it's hot in Death Valley. Why, it's hot in Texas. It's hot in Alabama. It's hot in the Sahara, too, in the summer. All right, I'm going to play this incredible Dr. Michael Yeadon clip, then Owen Schroyer's taking over. I'll be back tomorrow with a huge, huge breakdown on transhumanism and the globalist takeover, a tour de force deep dive on transhumanism, depopulation, the New World Order with Steve Bannon, and an amazing author and researcher who's also joining us. So look for that Monday show. But now listen to Michael Yeadon. He sounds exactly like me. Not because he's getting it from me. He's reading their own documents. Listen to him. We're going to archive this once we're not live later to band.video. Share this like your life depends on it, because it does. This is a new type of warfare, but we can stop it together. We've got to admit we're under attack, and we've got to warn everybody and explain the compendium of how the whole system unfolds. They hit you with dozens of different societal attacks. They offer the solution of being the saviors throughout the attacks. And because it's all separated in different attacks, people don't see that it's the IMF, World Bank, through the Davos Group and the UN orchestrating it. They own the media, they own the banks, they own academia. Now they're making their move on the family, but we will stand together. We don't have a choice. Now here's Dr. Michael Yeadon. Listen, take notes, and understand our lives and children's lives and our future depends on getting this through our heads and sharing it.
I think we're in the middle of an ongoing crime. I've no idea how long it's going to last. I'm convinced that it will be the biggest crime in history. It's global. It has the intent of control, removing everybody's freedom, and I personally think will involve killing further millions, if not billions of people. That makes it a pretty big competitor for the title worst crime in history. It is long planned. I won't bore you with the details, but I've definitely come across information that shows that the components of the deceit that they've used, PCR, exaggerated PCR testing, the use of fear-based messaging through the media, this stuff's been rehearsed by militaries and the people we might think of as the spooks for at least 25 years and possibly longer. So it's long planned, very serious. Here's the thing, why I'm calling you to arms. It's not going to return to the old normal. One, that's never their intention. So it's not going to happen passively because there isn't an actual phenomenon that's going to wear off. They're not going to allow it to return to normal. So if you comply with this tyranny, it will end with the loss of your liberty and probably your life. The supply chains that move materials, raw materials and finished goods around the world are being sawn through on a global scale. You only got to look at where the shipping is, where it should be and where it actually is. And terrifyingly, the same is happening to food production worldwide, food and fertilizer production. It's in the wrong place. It's deliberate. They're smashing the means of manufacturing enough calories to keep 7.8 billion people alive. And, where do you think that's going to end? Well, the answer is mass starvation, war, global migration. That's what's going to happen if you and everybody else choose to do nothing at all. Also, economic destruction we can see happening around us. Interest rates will rise on the back of huge debts. That will just cause mass bankruptcies, rolling recessions, depressions, things like that. And I would also imagine loss of confidence in the very thing called money. So any savings you've got, I think they'll just vanish. Literally, people will just say, I no longer trust sterling. I don't want to accept it. And so all your savings are now worth nothing. So if you wait, I believe it'll be too late. I think you already know that I'm broadly telling you something that's closer to the reality than what government's telling me. But I believe that we can head off the worst crimes in history by actively withdrawing our consent and definitely not accepting these digital ID for any reason. If you accept it, they will sweep over us. And so just in the last few words, I implore you to get involved, to use some of what I and others are saying to you. Be brave, actually. You have to be brave now and risk embarrassment and recruit other people to this cause, and we can roll them over.
So what's the lesson we learn now that we have all the scientific data that they already had and hid from you and told you the vaccine was safe and effective when they knew it was neither safe or effective? What is the lesson? It's that the power structure that controls this planet does not care if you die. And they don't even care if they kill you. They have enough power over the media and your politicians that they know nothing will happen. Well, what's the other lesson? How did InfoWars and many other people predict that all of this would come true? Well, because we have the sense of urgency. We understand the playing field that we are on right now. And so, unfortunately, it looks at this point like Big Pharma is going to get away with all of that. So because your Congress and media didn't have the sense of urgency when this was all happening. Now, when you see what's going on in Russia with the drone strikes today, and Russia said there were also other drone strikes that they thwarted. So there were multiple drone attacks on Russia. One made it to a central financial district in Moscow. You have to understand, the same power structure that injected poison into your veins and killed you would gladly start a world war to maintain their power, and that's what they're attempting to do. They want to provoke Russia into a larger attack, nuclear attack, what have you, so that they can start World War III and blame Russia. And you say, well, that's absolutely crazy. This will cause billions of people to die. The power structure that controls this planet does not care. It has a vision for the future, 10,000 years in advance, total slavery of humanity or whatever is left of it when they're finished with us.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple-digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?